There's a lot of bullcrap that happened at our house. He starts getting the idea, well, I'm gonna ride backwards, and
So I
so
can see everything, get that vision.
yeah, and this horse goes to bucking.
Somehow we got the idea of running full speed on the horse. I just remember turning around and Braden's 8, 9, 10, 7. His feet fly up above his head and he just goes, whoa! I thought he might have died.
And this will be the first time Mom and Dad's ever heard about this. With me is, as I've said before, 4-time NFR qualifier, Ty Harris.
Good to be here. Glad to see you.
It's an honor just to get him on our podcast, and we benefit far greater than he does. So, big thanks to you, Mr.
I don't know
Harris.
about that, but thank you. Glad to be here.
Ty, you've been pretty close around the bubble a lot of your PRCA career. Not, you were more comfortable this year, right? But you couldn't coast in the summer, late in the summer at one time, and so the amount of pressure, what did you feel like on just the amount of pressure that you dealt with?
Kind of most of it is pressure I put on myself, and just to be able to control that pressure and control your mental game it goes so far to talk about those guys. And I try to work on it on myself, and I know you try to work it on it with yourself, is just learning how to get by it, learning how to take it out of the deal, just taking a deep breath, knowing you've put in the preparation, you've put in the time, nodding your head and go and have confidence that you can do your job and put yourself where you need to be. But deep in the summer, when you're anywhere close to the bubble and you see those guys winning and the dogs are coming, you got to just learn how to block it out and survive.
I think for me, the whatever pressure I've been under, seeing who you have with you is always helpful, right?
Yeah.
Seeing your family, talking to your family, and those things. Shout out to Uncle Gil, always keeping it lighthearted. But having those people that you're like can keep perspective, I think, can really allow you to live within yourself instead of just because at the end of the day, it's still like rodeo is still this thing that we're doing, and it's not bigger than the importance of your family either way, right? And they can give you perspective whenever you're going through those hard times.
No doubt.
And two, I think that for me, I love having someone in the box with that kind of that same deal, and having Ty in the box with me for how many runs were you? 2 or 3?
I was there for 2 runs.
Ty
Waco,
got to be at Waco at the Texas Circuit Finals for 2 runs, and just having support. Do I need him to? Do I think I have a better chance of performing just because he's there? No, but it's just kind of like it's fun. You're like you have to enjoy that and be like, man, you're riding the box and you see that and you're like, this guy's been here too. Like, hey, this is nothing new. Like these opportunities are gonna present themselves and we're both gonna go get it. So
no, yeah, it makes a big difference being able to have somebody right there. Like at the finals, I'll be in there for Braden and he'll heal, then he'll come back up there and be in there when I calf rope. And whether it goes good or bad, it's nice to have somebody right there that is just 100% right there for you. Obviously, your family's in the stands too, but just that closeness, that feel you have got somebody in the box. Right. Whoa, you're good. You go, yelling for you. It's just it's a pretty good feeling. So.
Yeah, and that's what makes the big moment special, right? You, I don't know when the podcast when Ty's podcast with Cole will air, but he in that podcast he talks about just being able to enjoy his biggest moments. Well, each of your biggest moments you've talked about at San Angelo, it was about Granny, who is there, but she had passed, and Mom being at Calgary. Well, those are big moments, but what you remember isn't just the moment. You remember who you were there
exactly
enjoying it with, right? But let's get into the funnier stories when we were younger. There's a lot of bullcrap that happened at our house. Anytime Dad left, and you never knew. Sometimes we were pretty serious, but sometimes we were just kind of really jacking around. What's the first one that comes to mind? I already have one in mind, so you want me to start?
I have a couple, but you can go ahead.
So my personal favorite, if you've never heard of this horse's name is Cactus, and Probably the best horse, maybe the best horse we've ever owned. You know, that's debatable, but maybe
Top
the best
three
horse
for
we've
sure.
ever owned. Horse is unreal. And if you don't know what he is, go watch the video of Ty matching Tanner Green back 15 and under days, and you can see how good that horse is. But anyway, so I'm probably, 8 or 9, probably 9, and Ty's 13 or 14 years old. And he's pulling a little sled for me that you have to pull on a horse. And first he's dallied up, and we're just doing our deal. And then he starts warming up, and he starts jacking around a little bit. So then he ties on.
I tied on. Go ahead.
Then he ties it on, and then we're having a pretty. I don't know. I guess it was kind of a drudgy day, and you're just trying to cheer things up a little bit.
Well, you were missing a couple times, and I said, "What's going on back there?" Well, I couldn't really see it because I was tied on. I'm looking back there. Well, then.
Yeah. So he starts getting the idea. Well, I'm just gonna ride backwards, and so
I could see everything, get that vision.
Yeah. He wanted to watch me rope.
I figure out why you were missing.
Yeah. Anyway, how he's justifying this is unreal, but yeah. So and I'm just sitting there for a second getting my rope ready, and you just get kind of, oh boy, and the horse starts backing up a little bit, and just imagine real quick, the rope is tied onto the saddle horn. Ty is backwards on his horse holding the cantle, trying to hold the reins with his hands back, trying to guide the horse with his hands back. And he backs him up just one step too far, and the horse backs his leg over the rope. So Ty is trapped from the rope is over his leg and under Cactus's leg. And this horse goes to bucking. Oh my goodness, he's bucking. And Ty, just keep imagining with me. Keep imagining with me. He's holding on to the cantle as the horse is bucking. And I mean, he's really bucking. And I'm laughing my butt off. And this dummy is swinging. I mean, swinging everywhere, just swinging. And I look up, and Ty's laughing, so I'm laughing. Somehow Ty slips out. He jumps out, and he rode him a pretty long way. He probably rode for 8 seconds, but
8.
But he jumps off, and this horse takes off, and me and Ty are laughing so hard. Zane Waldrop, if you ever see this, he was there. He was not laughing. He was PO'd, and. Yeah, I would say that was one of my favorite ones.
That's the first one that came to mind for me.
I mean, yeah, that's a classic, and just a lot of bad ideas taking place. Anytime you tie on, it seems to go bad at our place.
Yeah, bad stuff could happen. I remember one time somehow we got a rope hung up in the rafters. Is that what you think? So the rope's hung up and it's somehow tied on the pole. And I was just hanging. It's like one of those ropes you can jump off a cliff into a river with or something.
Yep.
But it's hanging in the middle of the arena. And somehow we got the idea of running full speed on the horse, grabbing the rope, and the horse just running out from underneath us like old Western and hanging and swinging. Well, I just remember turning around and Braden's 8, 9, 10, 7, somewhere around there. I don't remember. Young, small, but strong little sucker. And this horse is flipping running, and he grabs.
Billy might have been there that day.
He grabs, and his feet fly up above his head, and he just goes whoa, and he was just silent. It sounded like an earthquake when he hit the ground, and then it was just silence. Next thing he stands up and he's laughing so hard, some tears run down his face, and he's laughing. Then I started laughing, but I thought he might have died. So I did. That was one that for sure came to mind on me, and we didn't do it after that. But
that made me think of this time, and that this was whenever we were even younger. You were probably 12 or 13, and it was with Sage, and we were out like putting up the steers or something in the arena, and them two had the mule, and they left me. They start driving around in circles around me, teasing me, and I'm trying to get on the mule. Well, eventually they get out of the mule, and then I jump in it, and I drive off without them.
The worst driver you've ever seen.
And I'm
clarify that. Terrible.
And I'm like pointing at them, messing with them, and I'm driving. I'm looking to the left and just jacking with them, and they're like, whoa, 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 and I run smack into the fence as hard as you could possibly go. I didn't hit the brakes at all, and I hit my head on the thing. I was like, And so that was one of them.
It's still bent to this day, that pole is. But.
Yeah, and this will be the first time Mom and Dad's ever heard about this.
Yeah, for sure.
So this will be fun. This will be hilarious. They have not heard this story ever.
They haven't looked at that fence very good.
No, they never did take a good look. It's bent. That pole is still bent.
They're all straight, and that one's like that.
So I thought I did a great job on that one, fixing the pole. So, yeah, and then what's a good story? We can even go just like what's a serious story? Like what is there anything that comes to mind? And the funny ones we've told them more often, so obviously they come to mind a little bit easier. But is there something good you remember, or even just serious, or just kind of a like this? Maybe this is the type of thing that got me to where I'm at. I actually have one, so I'll start. So I remember one night. Well, there's two nights that come to mind. So one night, you were like he was really struggling with his neck shot for a week or two, and just really struggling roping the neck. And so he got out there with a horse, just roping that same sled that. By the way, that it didn't break the day that sled just swung around. It's still
pretty good quality.
It's still driving, still going on to this day, still sledding. But he was roping this little sled stationary, and I remember that night just kind of the fight, and something he said. He was just like, I'm gonna figure it out one way or another. I'll sit out here, and I said I'll sit out here and help you and take it off for you until you get it figured out. So I'm right here with you whenever, I'll keep doing it.
I remember that. You said, I'll sit here all night. I said, I'm going to sit out here until I fix it. I don't care if it takes all night. And he said, I'll be right here with you. And it was pretty shortly thereafter. I think that kind of got it dialed in. Something was it. But, I do remember that very, very clearly. I remember getting ready for San Angelo Roping Fiesta. I had the junior match. I was matching John Douch there. And I was very undersized, and first time I'd really roped in front of hometown crowd. They'd heard about rodeo, whatever, been in the newspapers and stuff, and they knew, who we were and stuff, but hadn't really gotten to compete in front of them. And I remember just tying one calf over and over and over, and then we get the next one, and you'd been practicing all day with me, but it was that night that I was like, I'm gonna tie him on the ground 100 times.
Right, yeah.
And you were out there, and I just remember having the hoodies on. It was a colder night, and then I busted my hands up so much. I got gloves, and we tied for 5-6 hours, went through a bunch of calves, and just and I remember you said something like, doesn't matter how much bigger he is than you, whatever, you're gonna do what you gotta do, you always do, or something to that, and John Douch, I mean, you know who he is. He's amazing, still a stud, always was a stud.
Golly.
Roped way better than me at that time, but things ended up going my way. But I just knew for sure, because me and you were hard on each other and we're not really the type of people to like build each other up that much with words. It was just that one, all it took was one sentence. Those two different occasions I can remember that for sure made the difference and helped me leap and mentally know that it was I was going to figure it out and get to where I needed to go. So
yeah, I do. Those are two. Actually, I remember those like very well. And that was actually going to be my second story. But it's kind of interesting that we both had the same thoughts, because we haven't told this to anyone. Probably I've never said it to anyone,
and we haven't talked about it before.
No, we haven't even talked about it before either. So
that's funny.
That was really cool. But I also just the daily was so I think there was so much of I want to get into Dad, how much he studied. He really studied, and he taught us how to study. I think that's maybe the best thing he ever taught us about roping was be a student of the game, never quit watching your opponents, and because if you see someone doing something better than you, pick it up, right? And don't be too so high that you can't learn something from someone else, right? And I just remember, I mean, it's not hard to remember, but just how much we watched NFR tapes over and over, and we watched so many tapes with Dad, and just him teaching us how to study
Yeah.
roping and how to study everything.
Yeah, and to like you said, not always learning from somebody. I mean, he
Right.
got how many different things did we try to learn from different people? I mean, whether it was Joe Beaver, Cody Old, Trevor Brazil, Tuff Cooper, Walter Beaver, Joe Beaver. I mean, so many different people. Ricky Canton, anybody. It didn't matter if they were in the double out roping at the USCRA or the US Opens back then, and then the Ultimates, or the best roper in the world. I mean, Roy Cooper. It started from watching that old Roy Cooper video, instruction. Strand Smith. There's so many different people that you try to get little bits and pieces from, and I'm still trying to perfect my craft, and I know you are too. Just trying to get something from somebody. I mean,
no, yeah, you know what I think that I really admired the most about what you were able to do was you kind of paved the way for the side that Dad didn't fully understand about roping yet. Was there's that mental side that you had to take on. That my dad was a great athlete, but rodeo athletes and regular athletes aren't the same.
Yeah, way different.
Right? So Ty had to pave the way for maybe we're not going to watch our bad runs 100 times.
That's right.
Maybe we're not going to we know what to do. Maybe confidence is the most important thing now that we've broke it down so much. I don't know what transpired for you. Like, was it just I have to win, will to win? Like, what was kind of that? How did you keep that confidence, basically?
Man, I'll be honest. If we're talking about the pro rodeo level, I actually got the confidence because I was broken. I did not think that I was good enough to win at that level. My rookie year at Colorado Springs, I wanted to go home. I wanted to head south and go to San Angelo. I'm like, this is the closest I'm about. You're about to go up north, go to Nampa, Salinas, all those rodeos, and then be gone in the Northwest for another 40, 50 days. And Cody Craig was 30,000 ahead of me in the rookie. I was barely in the top 50. I didn't think I could win. I hadn't won. Horses were tired. Horses were crippled, and I literally just honestly lost hope a little bit that I could even make the NFR, because that was my goal when I left. I was like, my goal is to go make the NFR. And whenever I stopped worrying about that and just was like, you know what, I already lost my chance to make the NFR. I'm just gonna have fun. It is fun out here to be doing what I am doing. I want to do my whole life. I've always wanted to rodeo, so I'm just gonna enjoy it. And then all of a sudden things clicked,
Right.
And I realized that's actually the method, I think, to the madness. The secret to success for me, and I think for a lot of people, is just being able to simplify it and just go rope. I mean, can't worry about it. You can only think about it so much. If you prepare, you put yourself in the place to win, and then you do your best to execute. You realize what you did wrong, and when it goes bad, and you go on to the next one. And so that's kind of how I kind of got blessed by just learning it just by trial and error a little bit, I think, on that. I mean, and credit to Dad. I wanted to come home, and I told him I was heading home. And
I remember that.
I told him I have no money in my bank account.
No, my
horse is done.
He always did a good job when you're at your breaking point.
Yes.
How to, what's the right thing to say?
Yeah, he said, no, I'm putting $5,000 in your account. You're staying out there, and I'll see you at the end of the year.
Yeah,
and
he said you're going to finish. You're going to
finish. Finish. He said, I don't care if you make the top 50 or not. You're going to finish the year. Yeah. So, anyways, it ended up turning out all right, and that was probably the most crucial moment to this point for me that gave me that start and made me realize I could do it. So
no, it's really. I mean, you can't really put a finger on, what. Just what it takes, the mental makeup that it takes to be an NFR cowboy. I mean, it's really incredible, and I think that that's why everyone's trying to figure out that mixture, right? That mixture, and I think that obviously the biggest thing is failing and then pushing through, because that gives you confidence that whenever I go through something, I've been here before.
Exactly.
That's why teams with experience that win championships, right? Because they know they're like, we've lost games before, and so much of really what causes that slope downward is just from giving into your mistakes and saying maybe I'm not good enough in those things, and it's just crazy to me, like, you being able to do that and because rodeo is just such a special thing where you got to figure it out on your own, and he really did on that confidence thing.
Thanks. I mean, I was blessed with a lot of things, but I when I started rodeoing, I was really only a calf roping and team roping fan, but now going to the NFRs that I've gone to and being around the people that I've been around, I'm a fan of them as people, guys like Dawson Hay, Casey Field, all the, the friends that I've gotten to meet, Sage Kimsey guys in Roughstock, but also even guys I don't know as a person, just for the fact that they make the NFR, whether it's 1 year or every year, the respect that I have for them, is absolutely there, even if I don't know them, just because
there's something
it's so hard no matter what event. I want to congratulate them and just tell them, job well done, because it's everybody's dream and it takes a lot. Everybody has been through their own story, and there needs to be more people talk about their story of what they went through, the ups and the downs and the trials and the tribulations, no matter who it is, because the rodeo life, it can wear you out. I mean, to get to the top and make it there, you go through a lot no matter what. So I always have I have a lot of respect for every event and every guy that makes it.
Oh yeah, I mean, because you know what it took. Yeah. It took for every person. They had this something in their story, like to be able to. They pushed through something,
no doubt.
Something for real,
a lot,
right?
I mean.
And it's absolutely incredible. What would you say is something that it can just be in roping? Like, what have you been trying to take away, maybe just from what I'm doing? What's something that you think you're taking away from that, or was it kind of fueling you to do what, has it changed aspirations in any way, or what would you say?
Man, I'll tell you, the first thing that comes to mind is it's honestly feels like it's taken a little bit of the pressure off myself just in my own mind, because I want you to do good so bad. And then I get so nervous for you roping that it's honestly like taking it off my mind a little bit on myself. Like, I got more stuff to think about and worry about, and like scheduling you and working on different things. It's honestly kind of cleared my mind a little bit about my own stuff, because I have a lot of other stuff that I really care about. I really want to see you do good so bad, and everything else. So it's kind of like, man, it's made it more fun and more enjoyable. And I'm really, really excited. So
no, I think that's something like so good to point out. Is just as for me too. I think that having that, who am I thinking of, and is all about me, right? And I think that it always, for me, the confidence I find is more so, okay, look at the ones around me. Like, I want to care for the ones around me, and I want to push for the people that pushed hard for me. I want to push for them, right? And Dad put so much commitment into rodeo, so why wouldn't in our roping, like, push for them, right? Exactly, and I think that it's such a good motivation, and it's such a good motivator. But I think that might wrap it up for us. But thank y'all so much for listening. Such a great time. I
had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
I thought it was an awesome podcast. Thank y'all so much. God bless. Hope you have a great time. Hope you took something from this. Hope you saw just how much family means, and hopefully you get to recall some of the memories you've had with y'all's family, to every listener. So thank y'all so much. God bless again.